Two Boeing wide-body aircraft continue to dominate long-haul commercial aviation. The 777 has been flying since 1995. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner entered service in 2009. Together, they account for more than 3,900 firm orders across the world's largest carriers. One carries more passengers and generates more thrust. The other burns substantially less fuel. Here is how the 777 and the Dreamliner actually compare across every category that matters. The 19-year gap between the two release dates explains much of what separates them. Boeing engineered the 777 around the technology available in the mid-1990s. The Boeing 787 reflects an entirely later generation of cabin design philosophy. When evaluating the two side by side, the comparison must account for how each aircraft compared against its peers at the time of its respective launch. The 777 cabin offers seating configurations ranging from economy through business to first class. Its wider fuselage allowed wider seats and larger aisles than any Boeing aircraft that came before it. A typical two-class configuration accommodates 392 passengers. Cabin width measures 5.8, 7 meters, or 19 feet, 3 inches. The result is a relaxed environment for long-haul passengers, with more shoulder room and broader walking space than older wide-body designs offered. The Boeing 787 redefined cabin design for long-haul flying. Larger windows replace the smaller portals of earlier aircraft. Those windows include electronic dimming controls instead of physical shades. Composite materials make up roughly 80% of the aircraft's structural composition. The construction choice produced a quieter cabin and allowed Boeing to maintain higher humidity and lower cabin altitude than aluminum-based widebodies. The Boeing 787 accommodates up to 336 passengers in the same two-class configuration. That is 56 fewer seats than the 777 carries. Cabin width measures 5.5 meters, or 18 feet, slightly narrower than the 777. The technical differences extend beyond passenger count. The Boeing 787 holds a slight speed advantage. The Boeing 787 cruises at Mach 0.90. The 777 cruises at Mach 0.89. Specific figures vary based on airline configuration and the model in question. Engine selection is where the two families separate decisively. The 777 has used 3 engine options across its production life. The Pratt & Whitney PW4000, the Rolls-Royce Trent 800, the General Electric GE90. The Dreamliner uses either the General Electric GNX or the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000. The thrust numbers tell the structural story. The GE90, powering certain 777 variants, produces between 110,000 and 115,300 pounds of thrust. Both Boeing 787 engine options generate around 76,000 pounds of thrust. The 777 with the GE90 produces significantly higher thrust than anything available on the Boeing 787. That thrust margin is what allows the larger aircraft to operate longer routes with heavier payloads. For an airline seeking extended operational range without frequent refueling stops or en-route landings, the 777 remains the operationally relevant choice. Fuel consumption is where the comparison tilts in the Dreamliner's favor. The 777 series consumes between 6,800 and 7,500 liters per hour, depending on the specific variant. The Boeing 787 consumes between 4,900 and 5,600 liters per hour. The per-seat numbers make the gap concrete. The 777-300ER demonstrates a fuel consumption rate of 2.9 liters per 100 kilometers per seat. The Boeing 787-10 achieves 2.27 liters per 100 kilometers per seat. That difference of 0.6, 3 liters per 100 kilometers per seat, appears small on a single flight. Across a fleet flying thousands of long-haul cycles per year, the gap compounds into substantial operating cost savings. The advantage has allowed numerous airlines to offer lower fares on long-haul routes operated by the Dreamliner. The composite-heavy construction of the Boeing 787 drives the efficiency advantage. Lower structural weight reduces required engine thrust. Reduced engine thrust reduces fuel burn. The aerodynamic design choices on the Boeing 787 reinforce the same trend across every flight phase. Both aircraft operate under stringent safety standards set by aviation authorities worldwide. Each features advanced avionics, redundant control systems, and enhanced monitoring capabilities. The accident records reflect the different service durations more than the underlying engineering. As of August 2022, the 777 had been involved in 31 aviation accidents and incidents. 8 of those resulted in hull losses. 5 occurred during flight, 3 occurred on the ground. The total included 3 hijackings. Those events resulted in 541 fatalities across the program's history. As of March 2023, the Boeing 787 had been associated with 7 incidents and accidents. None of those occurrences resulted in any fatalities. No hull losses occurred. The average incident rate per year since entry into service measures approximately 0.5 for the Boeing 787. The corresponding rate for the 777 stands at approximately 1.25. The service life gap influences any direct comparison. The 777 has been operational since 1995. The Boeing 787 entered service in 2009. The longer operational history of the 777 accounts for a significant portion of the spread between the 2 accident records. Price figures reflect technology, vintage, and structural complexity. List prices are orientation values only. Manufacturers set actual contract prices based on customization, bulk order size, and direct negotiation between airlines and Boeing. As of recent figures, the 777-200ER averaged approximately $306 million. The 777-9 lists at $442 million, ranking among the most expensive aircraft in the entire Boeing catalog. The Boeing 787-8 sits at the lower end of the comparison at $248 million. The Boeing 787-10 lists at $338 million. Initial purchase price is rarely the deciding factor for airline planners. The long-term operational savings from improved fuel efficiency remain central to every wide-body fleet decision. Order book numbers reveal the relative market penetration of the 2 programs. As of recent reporting, the 777 had received 2,150 firm orders with 1,713 aircraft delivered. Emirates leads all carriers with 255 orders, followed by Qatar Airways with 159. Singapore Airlines holds 116. The Boeing 787 had received 1,756 firm orders with 1,572 aircraft delivered. United Airlines leads the customer list for the Dreamliner program. The picture continues to evolve in 2026. The 777X, the next generation development of the 777 family, remains in final certification, with Lufthansa scheduled to receive the first delivery in early 2027. The Boeing 787 production line has stabilized after years of quality refinement, with multiple major airlines including Ethiopian Airlines and Biman Bangladesh placing fresh Dreamliner orders in April 2026. Both aircraft families remain central to Boeing's wide-body strategy as the company pushes monthly delivery totals back toward pre-disruption peaks. Each program covers a distinct slice of the long-haul market. The 777 holds the thrust, the payload, and the unmatched range at the top of the segment. The Boeing 787 holds the per-seat economics that define profitability on the medium to long routes airlines fly most often.